What's up, Buck fans? It's the aftermath on 102.9 Game Broadcast South Street Radio. We are out here talking about the current state of the Buccaneers. Who's going to stay? Who's going to go? The coaching staff. We got a lot of shit to talk about tonight. So let's get ready to have a hell of a show. Let's do this. What's up, Bucs fans? Again, it's AJ Turner. Welcome to the Bucs Aftermath, the Game Broad Street South Radio on 102.9. And we got my main man, Slick, Coach Slick, a.k.a. the British guy who's always fly. Now, look here, again, coaching. We still got to get him in there. And even for that, even not for the Bucs, Coach, show your support for Coach Slick. Check out It's About Bucking Time. Give Coach Slick an opportunity and just look at his accolades. And for everybody over there in his fellow country, get him an opportunity, okay? We want to get him out there. So, how you doing tonight?
Just reading up on all the gossip and seeing the skies falling down about the whole Mike Evans not being re-signed in the time frame that everyone wants it, and I'm just not that worried about it, to be honest. The NFL is going to put their predictions up of where they think he's going to go because it's a newsworthy story for them. Yeah, it gets clicks, it gets people excited.
Absolutely, I think Buck fans just have to understand in business. It's not just for, of course, we're fans. We want Evans to stay. And sometimes I can't agree because the faster you show interest in keeping your player, it shows to the other guy that, hey, they want me here. I would not want a guy like Mike Evans testing the markets. You don't want that because he is too valuable. He's still within his prime years. And if you show no loyalty, he can go somewhere else and make that team an immediate Super Bowl contender. We don't want him to go to the Chiefs because that means we got to hear more bullshit. If he goes to the Chiefs, I kid you not, no bullshit, with that team, he could win 2 more straight. Yeah, I guarantee 2 more straight.
I think every time they win, you just wanted to go for see if you can do the 3-peat and the 4-peat and so forth. So I think as soon as they lose one, that's when Coach Reid and Travis Kelce will walk away, in my opinion.
And even if they walk away, all you need to do is bring an average offensive-minded coach with Evans, because let's say let's say if they were to get him in 2 more years past, he's still 33. He's still got a solid season left in him to be at that elite level. So this is why for the Bucs community, I understand, but at the end of the day, this is a business. We still have got to make sure Baker wants to be here. We still got to make sure that Antoine is happy. We have to make sure Wirfs will be happy. We have to make sure Levante might want to come back. So this is a business, Buc fans. This is a time where they're strategizing. Now, I know you're mad, but Jason Light knows what he's doing. Jason Light, how many times guys, remember when we won the Super Bowl and we brought the band back, people did not expect that. People literally said, how are they going to keep this team together? And Light and the coaches found a way. So Bucs fans, be patient. Trust me, I'm very concerned too, but this is a business. It's not going to go your way. This is the Buccaneers way. Right now, we still need to focus on what we need to do in free agency now. Now, that's what you really need to be looking at. Who the hell are the Bucs going to be looking at in free agency? Now, Slick is all. I'm going to give Slick the floor because he put something brilliant. I'm just going to throw that in there. Slick has said that we need a pass rusher. So let's hear what Slick has to say about that again, because he's brought it up. Slick, can you school these people on why we need a pass rusher?
Because when you draft a pass rusher, and we drafted one quite recently, they don't make an immediate impact. It's very rare that in their first year that they have a great year. And you're talking the kind of ones that have great years and they still only getting 8 sacks. 8 sacks is a great year for a rookie pass rusher. Go and look at the pass rushers of the rookies who are like your Joey Bosa's, your Nick Bosa's, Those kind of guys. Have a look at what they did in their rookie years, and they're still impressive. But the first year, it's not as good. And you got to remember where we picked. We picked what 24, 26, something like that.
26.
26. The chances of you nailing that guy is harder and harder the further you go down. They're usually top 10 guys. We got away with a bit of a steal in Yaya Diaby, but even then, compared to the big whizzes in the draft world, he wasn't expected to be drafted where he was expected to be drafted where he was, and no one expected him to have the season that he had. And I would still state that a lot of the NFL would still put him probably the top 5, one of the top 5 pass rushers in the league, even though he's probably closer to top 3, maybe top 2, depending on how you look at it. But they still have the Nolan Turners of the world. They may have less sack production, but they've done other things too. Those are the guys. They didn't have great statistical seasons. You're not going to get it with your draft pick. It is worth drafting one because of the future. You've got to draft somebody. But I would say in this case, draft someone who's going to have an immediate impact on your team, like a safety, like a center. Those are somebody who's going to day one start. Day one start. Now you probably could get a pass rusher that will day one start. You probably could. But how much of an impact are they going to have? Are they going to be any better than Shaq is right now? Realistically, they're probably going to be. If they're really good, they'll probably be on par with Shaq. But you've already got Shaq, so you don't need to go down that route. Now they could be better, they might not be. You go down the tried and trusted method of guys who've got the job done. It will cost you a bit of dollar though. Pass rushers aren't cheap.
I agree, and I want to add on to what you were saying. And this isn't just about drafting, guys. You have to. The expectations would be much higher for Yaya. You guys got to realize when you draft another pass rusher, that means you're saying we're damn confident enough that this guy is going to take it to the next level, and he's gonna basically equal out the other guy being average. So basically, your guy has to be damn near elite for the other guy just to be average. Do you really expect that from Yaya? Right now, we have to.
Not yet. I think he can have a great jump, but
yes.
You never want to just turn around at someone who's going to be elite from we expect it because we want to know things. We want them to be what we want them to be, right? But realistically, when it's all said and freaking done, he's probably going to develop another year. He's probably going to hit that. Hopefully, he hits that 8 to 9 sack race. That would be fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not going to have a 10 sack season. I mean, I'm quite happy to eat my words. I've got no problem with eating my words on this one. But realistically, he's going to have an 8 to 10 kind of season. If you can pair with another guy who can do that, and then a good rotation of guys who can come in and get a couple of sacks each, and then you've got Vita Vea still eating. Criminal that Vita Vea isn't as rated as he is. He is one of the most underrated nose tackles in football. He's respected by people who watch him, as in like on the television cast. He is massively respected, but he gets no accolade respect. And I'm talking all pros and pro bowls, because what they do is they pick 2 free techs.
Yes, they do.
You don't run a team with 2 free techs. You run a team with a nose tackle and a free tech.
Yeah, and again, as Slick always say, it's not as sexy neither. When you're not a position that's explosive and exciting, you won't get the credit. But the real people who know the game understand. A lot of fans do not know who offensive linemen are. They really don't. And thank you. Hello to RK and Christopher Cole. Thank you all for tuning in, Buck fans. We really appreciate it. But back to what I was saying. You're right, Slick. When you don't have the exciting position, you don't get the respect. Again, a lot of offensive linemen, they don't realize that's one of the second most important thing in football. But they never know because they're not the ones showing their faces or making moves like your receiver, your backs, your tight ends. But that is all equally important, as you just stated. Vita Vea, I'm glad you brought him up because, in my opinion, Kancey is going to have to take that elite step. Now, I know that's not fair, but he has to. If Kancey can take that elite step, not necessarily elite, but if he can get to the above average consistent,
he can get to. I mean, I think he played very well last year. A limited amount of time. If he continues on the trajectory he's on, then yes, I completely see it. It's the other side of the line you got to get right as well. Now, could Yaya play on the line rather than as an outside backup? That's an interesting case. Usually, they want a bit thicker in a 3-man front. You usually want a little bit thicker in the body. But I was really impressed with Greg Gaines, to be honest. I'd love to see him come back.
I think he'll
Wasn't
come
a
back.
particularly expensive player in his own right. And Logan Hall in his own right too. I wouldn't say he took a major step, but he showed a lot more promise. He played a lot more. He made bigger plays this year. This is year 3. Year 3 can be really big. Not everyone learns the same, and a lot of people don't realize this. Don't give up on the draft picks of yesteryear, because those picks they could just click. Someone like Christian Eriksen comes in his first year and does what he did, but then his year quietened down over the course of the season. You know, you had Yaya Diaby got hot for a good while and started to be really dominant. When you add all that up, some players just learn quicker than others, and some players take time.
And also, you have to understand, sometimes you got to be patient. This is why we don't want to change coaching so soon, because that can mess up the stability of players. Buck fans, we remember this during the Dirk Cutter and during those years. Remember where I think Buck fans, we won it so fast because we tried to have faith in the other guys that got picked up. But this is what happens when you change coaches. You could interfere with people with their progress. You want a guy like Bowles. He's a defensive-minded individual. Get that man in there and develop these guys. You think Kancey and Yaya would have developed the way that they have if they had went to an offensive-minded guy?
They went to Mike Smith.
Exactly. Oh God, yeah, exactly. So guys, as Slick was saying, it takes time. You never know. I honestly don't expect Yaya, as you said. I see Yaya clicking at that level where we're like, oh shit, to year 3. Year 3, he's
year 3. No, again, I would all like to be wrong, and he nails it. I'd rather nail it this year. You know, JTS took bigger steps this year.
Yes, he did.
His play has got slowly better. Maybe he in his 4th year, it clicks. You just don't know.
Yeah, he might fuck around and say, wow, Yaya's on my ass, so I literally have to make something happen. Otherwise, it could be curtains for me.
I could be forgot. And it's contract year.
In his contract year, yes. So
I don't think they renewed his 5th year option.
I don't think so. But hell, what if?
So you need to have that year now. You need to have that, otherwise you're going to be thrown. I wouldn't say thrown to the wolves. You'll get on a team as a rotational piece for sure, because he is a good rotational player. At the moment, that's what he is. He's a good rotational player. Mm-hmm. We need a stud.
We are in that money situation. See, that's the thing. As a first round, you will get chances, and that's why it's a blessing for them. But it can also be a curse, because at that point, yeah, it's too much pressure. But yes, let's say that would be a controversy I would love to have. Let's say if JTS fucks around and gets 9.5 sacks now, and mind you, he's able to stop the run at better. Now you got a controversy where it's like, wow. And then Yaya, so you want this competition, because that's what it does. It brings out the best or the worst. It's gonna make or break this team. And then now, I'm glad we have a defensive-minded coach at this point, because free agency, you know who I'm going for? Chase Young. Imagine. I want Chase Young, because I think this is the thing.
I don't think he'd be particularly expensive, because he hasn't had a great season this year either. But he's it depends on the contract you can get him for. If you can get him on like a 1 or 2 year deal, money's not terrible, but not great. It doesn't break the bank. You know, like high signing bonus, low salary, so you don't pay too much for him for the year. Yes. Next year, you worry about next year or what have you, and that would be an interesting one. The only other name I like is Daniel Hunter.
Oh, of course, I want Daniel Hunter too. I think you can get,
but I think he might be a bit too pricey.
Maybe, but I think the Bucs can get away and get both, and this is why I say that. You get Chase Young on a 1 year deal. You make him prove himself. The reason why I think it didn't work out in San Fran, because they were a unit already established, and he kind of got in there
in that bowl. So
he balled, but I think that they're gonna move on, because they got to save money for other people, because they're in that situation. A guy like Chase, be like, look here, you come to Tampa, you got a defensive-minded guy who knows how to work with you, but you're gonna use 1 year to prove yourself, because it's a win-win for the Bucs. If he fucks around and he becomes a stud like he was in Washington, then maybe we don't have to worry about the future. Or if he's a bust, then there it is.
We don't know. He costs way too much money.
Yeah, I would. He's too young. Hunter is the most realistic. I think with his age, Slick, we might be able to get him for a good price. I didn't say cheap. Good. No. You could get both of these guys. Chase Young, in a way, he's on a desperate mode. He wants to go somewhere, not only where he can get something, but where he wants to be successful. I think Chase is the kind of guy where he does not want to end up somewhere like in the depths of a team that has no direction. So you get Hunter. Oh, but the Bucs get Hunter, I'm with you, Slick. That takes care of in the draft. You can get a pass rusher maybe in the fourth or fifth round after that.
You don't have to worry. It doesn't become so apparent. I mean, I'd like to see a center taken. Look, well, let's be honest, and let's be really, really honest here. It really depends on who stays and who goes in this free agency. That's really what shapes the draft. So it's like when all these people sit here and go, well, they need this, this is a need, this is a need. Those needs could get taken over during free agency, and then all of a sudden your mock draft that you've done in January or February means absolutely fuck all, because they've signed a wide receiver, or they signed a pass rusher, or they signed somebody, So, for the sake of argument, a quarterback needy team, let's say for the sake of argument, Baker Mayfield walks and he goes to another team. That team will no longer spend that first round pick on a potential quarterback. So then the entire draft is wide open again. So I think for us, we just got to sign our own first, and then look at what we can get. I wouldn't worry too much about the pass rusher just yet. It depends on what they decide to do about Shaq. If they keep Shaq, then they're going to definitely look in the market for it. If Mike Evans walks, they might spend that first round pick on a wide receiver. Nobody knows until you see what free agency looks like.
Exactly. Truly. I'm glad you talked about that, because you always talk about how we get safety. Now this is another guy. Now here's why I want him, because he's been in our defense before. The chemistry between him and Winfield is off the charts, and I don't think he's going to be expensive. Whitehead is out there. Whitehead is single. Whitehead is single, y'all. We got to wrap that up. Make him in a relationship with the Bucs, and this is why I say that he is the thumper that we need. He is the enforcer that we would want, and Winfield can be the well-rounded guy. After that, you could possibly draft a safety later on down the line if you want.
Yep. Like I said, free agency completely changes everything, because now all of a sudden you've got to make decisions based on what your roster needs are at that point, rather than what our roster needs right now are completely different to what they might be in 2 months' time.
I agree with you 100%. Now, I do like how you were saying earlier. A lot of people got to understand the fluffiness out there. Just because Baker hasn't signed yet, that doesn't trust me, because there was a rumor out there that he's going to get a 3-year, $75 million. Now, I tell you this, like if Light pulls some shit like that, he should already be GM of the year. If he can do that, and it's not as far-fetched. 75 is not bad. Depending on how much is guaranteed, you're in the state of Florida, so the tax money is going to be a big break. And again, Baker, someone says, hey, Baker, we're going to give you $75 million, 45 of that guaranteed. And look, if you take this deal, Mike Evans is coming back, because now we can afford to take care of him too. And then we'll just, that is not out of the question. So at this point, Evans and Baker are the priority. Now, I would really hope that if Baker, the 75 would be good. Now, in a realistic world, Slick, what would you think that Baker is going to try to say? Is he going to go, that's cool, or is he going to go, I need you to up it just a little bit more?
You've got to look at the way to look at quarterbacks, or any salary that's been signed. You always look at the last one signed, right, as someone who played at their capability. So you probably look at what Geno Smith got last year.
Yeah,
realistically, because that's what the agent's going to go in there and say, right, Geno Smith got this, and you've kind of got to turn around. Geno Smith didn't win a playoff game. Yeah, Geno Smith. I think did they have a winning season, or did he just play really well? I can't remember.
I think he just played really well. The Seahawks did not have a winning season. I think they went 7-9 or some shit like that.
I'm gonna have a quick look now. Yeah, but that being said, like, say if they didn't make the playoffs,
they did not
make the guy got. But my guy, this is what Geno Smith got. But my guy made the playoffs. My guy made the Pro Bowl. I think he made the Pro Bowl. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, Baker made the Pro Bowl, but you know something else, the Bucs can say, well, hey, look, your quarterback was also blessed with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. He had a solid O-line, and he also
and I think that's when they meet in the middle. They did make the playoffs in 2022. They went 9-8, and they lost in the wild card round to the Niners. So you got the playoff win is the only different. Is the thing that really differentiates them from each other. I'm just going to quick look at the stats just to, kind of get a ballpark of where they were both at and see what really went down. That's college.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. 4,282 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. That sounds very familiar, doesn't it?
Oh, big time. Yeah.
So that's the contract that's the contract you. And remember, the salary cap goes up. When the salary cap goes up, the price goes up because they'll go, well, your salary cap's gone up. There'll be some negotiation for sure, but the ball's definitely in Baker Mayfield's court. And it's whether he wants to be a Buck. Now, he's saying all the right things. He's done his media own. He says he wants to be a Buck. The thing is, if we had Dave Canales, I would think this would probably be a slam dunk because familiarity is a huge, huge thing. Now, they did go and get a Baker-friendly OC, which is always good. They can always talk to him about, well, we want to build the team around you. And after 3 years, we're more than happy to spend the big money. If we continue what you do what you do for the next 3 years, we'll sign you a 5-year deal straight off the bat. Because in quarterback years, it'd be like 28. Signing somebody at the age of 28 or 29 for 5 years is nothing.
It's nothing, and also that's another thing. I'm glad you brought up. That's gonna the direction of this new coordinator is going to be very, very vital to where the players come back. What if Mike Evans saying, I don't like this shit. I don't want to do this anymore. I'll take my chances elsewhere where I'm going to be targeted a lot. And then also, because I told you, the OC went in there, Liam Cohen went in there and said, I like to run the ball. I'm going to run that ball, coach. 3rd and 36. I'm going to run the HB draw. Just like you like it, coach. So it's imperative that Coach Bowles understands you let this offense find the direction.
I'm looking at CBS right now. They've got Baker Mayfield as the 19th ranked free agent of all, and they're projecting a 4 years, 65.8 million. That's a projection. That's not real. But then you look at it, they got Kirk Cousins, $39 million a year. I would much rather our guy than Kirk Cousins, if I'm honest. Kirk Cousins is a talented quarterback, but he is so up and down. You just don't know. And plus, look at the plethora of talent that he's had around him.
Yeah,
of his career.
I'm not
since he's been in Minnesota.
Yeah, Kirk is a robber. Kirk has been robbing the damn. He robbed Washington. He robbed the Vikings. You're right. He's a guy where, in a way, that's why I say he's robbing them, because with all that talent and you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you don't know how to win. That's what pisses me off. Baker is a winner. Baker has the winning mentality. Baker is the guy that believes in your team and fires them up. Now, and I think he's a guy with the right coordinator. He will get better and better. The biggest thing, again, is his decision making.
Would you pay what I just said? Would you pay that?
What, 68 for Baker? You're damn right. That's a steal. That's a win.
I'll take that too.
Because with that, now you could fucking get if Evans just wants to like play hardball and say, look, man, I need 3 years for $75 million right now. You can do that with Baker signing. You can go bet 3 years, $75 million. We'll give you 50 guaranteed.
Mike Evans projected at 96.3 million, and again, projected. Not saying this is actual facts. People have different opinions, and that's and that breaks down to about 24 million a year, just about.
And I don't think that's out of the question. You know who would do that just because? Dallas would try it. The Houston Texans could try it.
The Texans got the most money to do it.
That's what I'm saying. The Chiefs can't do that. If Evans just wants to be a ring chaser, he would go to the Chiefs for cheap. He could go for like 18 a year with Mahomes because he knows I'm going to keep winning. I'm going to keep winning, but they can't afford. They can't.
I don't even think they can afford the 18 million because they have holes to fill themselves.
There it is. They can't afford him. So that's the only thing that gives me comfort at night. I'm like, look, they can't afford
Okay,
him.
they've been tripping because they got Devin White at 80 million for 4 years.
That's bullshit. More like 20 million for 4 years. Because again, I think players got to understand nowadays.
I'll go for, I think a fair one would be 40, but I'm not far off from wait. From what I've seen of him, I think that would be a risk.
It's a big risk because one, I need a player that has it not just here, Slick, but you got to have it. You got to have it here and here. You got to have it in your heart and your mind. And he's the kind of guy where I got to worry about.
This is all like projections and stuff, and it's not. But doesn't the Saquon Barkley, the New York Giants tagging Saquon Barkley look really fucking stupid when and they've fucking signed so much money into a quarterback? And now Saquon Barkley's projection right now is 3 years at 19.9 million.
They went ass backwards.
So you should have gone the complete opposite way and tagged the quarterback and made him a made man.
Exactly. But again, ass backwards because that's why you can't. I do like when the Bucs are kind of like, you can't let the market of a quarterback scare you because that's what's going on. That's the problem nowadays. People they'll see somebody else not looking at the variables. Again, I think Baker can argue about having a lot, but if I'm the Bucs organization, look, man, you had Mike fucking Evans, you had Godwin, you had Otten, you had Tristan Wirfs watching your back. You had Rashad White in the backfield. It ain't like you came out here and you threw the scrubs. You came out here with the best talent available of your career. Basically, he was where he thought he was going to be with Cleveland, with Odell and Landry. So I would hope that Baker understands that. Now, to me, I'd pay him a little more than 64 if we can get away with the shit, yes. But 75, 3 years, I think that's a damn good deal for a guy. It's like, look, you've impressed us. You said it before, Slick, and so have I. We said, look, man, prove us wrong. Shit, if you come out and let's say for 3 years, 4,200, then 45, and then he gets close to 5, I don't mind breaking the bank after that because knowing that, more than likely, that means we're in the playoffs. Can you imagine with that kind of stats? The Bucs are in the playoffs for 3 more straight years. How can you not say no? That would probably be the longest streak of the Bucs history. So right now, this is what makes me excited. It's like this Bucs team is built we're not built for the we're just a desperate team. We got years now. The defense is going to get younger. Despite Levante leaving, Canty is a guy on the rise. Yaya's a guy on the rise. Antoine Winfield is a guy on the rise. We got Vita Vea entering his prime years. We got a squad to where this Bucs team could be in the playoffs. And I kid you not, I'm the hot take. The Bucs can be in the playoffs for the next 3 to 4 years, back to back.
I agree. Look, this is a real crucial free agency because because it depends on what Mike Evans does. If you get the big 3, because you can put off Tristan Wirfs till next year if you really have to. You can, because he is still under contract. Ideally, you would like to get the deal done today, and you might be able to get the deal done during the season potentially.
Yes.
Okay. So that's the way I would look at it. I'm not too worried. Let's get the core, because if you go to the playoffs again, Tristan Wirfs only knows what the playoffs look like. Why would you want to leave that team?
Damn, that's true. Damn, he a lucky bastard. He
just there are guys on this team like Levante who've starved for playoffs. They've had 4 in a row?
Yeah.
4 in a row, right? They don't know what the playoffs look like. That means less than 50% of Mike Evans, not Chris Godwin, and Levante David's careers have been spent outside the playoffs. Yep. Most of their careers have been outside the playoffs.
Outside looking in.
Exactly. And now you've got a plethora of players whose contracts are coming up who only know what the playoffs look like.
Damn, can you imagine their mindset too? Tristan Wirfs, I'm glad you said that. He has grown to be a vocal guy. Remember, in his first rookie year, he was quiet. Now he is the vocal leader that we need, as you said.
And who's his best buddy at the moment?
Tristan.
Baker Mayfield.
Baker's his guy.
They've been socializing a lot.
and another guy on defense, Antoine.
They're both expecting children, aren't they? At the same
Yep.
time, so I imagine
Yep.
the wives are good friends and da 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 da. Surely, all those little things, those tiny little things, those little dots in those eyes. If it gets right, this could be a monumental.
Yes.
If Baker picks up where he left off, and and we can just tweak a few things on offense to make it a bit sharper, get that run game a bit tighter, be a bit more aggressive on the line. Damn, we might not know what the playoffs don't look like anymore. We could be in that situation.
We could be in that, yeah, like you said.
But don't get me wrong. There's still going to be Buccaneers fans saying we should have done this and we should have done that.
I don't give a damn about that because the results will shut them up for the most part. It's like, look, like you just said, Tristan is probably telling Baker, look, man, I got you. I'm here with you. We gonna build this shit together. And as you said, that can affect them talking to Evans. Hey man, look, we got some shit growing. Now at that point, if I am Cohen, the new coordinator, you better be calling each of these guys and saying, look, what do you like best that can help me help this team, that can help Bowles as well, so we can get on that trajectory? Like you said, if let's say the Bucs run game can get to average.
Yeah, just give me top 15, but good in the right areas on third down.
Yep.
Good first downs.
Good first downs. Good schemes. If the schemes get better, I honestly think if this Bucs run offense can get, like you said, to 15, and the Bucs pass is at 10 or 12, oh God, we would be scary. We would literally, I think, to be.
But then you'd have like a top. You do the laws of average. You got a top 12 defense, and if you have a top 10 top 12 offense, and if you have a top 10 defense, you should be going to the playoffs if you got top 10 of both, right? Because
I agree.
16 teams.
Yeah, at this point, we would supersede Detroit.
Sorry, seven teams from the NFC out. Oh, fucking, I can't do the math.
No, I know where you're going, but look at
what I'm saying is, like, you do the laws of averages. A team that's got a top 10 defense and a top 12 offense should be knocking on the door of the playoffs every single time. Maybe they're not producing for a Super Bowl, but that's when you turn around and go, right, now we're going to nail the draft.
Oh, absolutely. If
the teams nail the draft, the teams are going to win in the future. They might not win it straight away, but they win in the future.
I'll tell you this: if let's say the Bucs, and I know this is a lot of far-fetched stuff, but hear me out. The Bucs get Hunter for a good deal. You get Chase Young for 1 year. Then unless I'm just throwing this out there, you get Whitehead.
Chase Young's being projected at $13.6 million a year at the moment.
Who Hunter?
Chase Young.
Chase Young, I don't see that. I see we can get him for 1 year, $8-9 million. I think he'll take that. But again, all those guys, and then let's say we get a center that's just average. That's a fucking Super Bowl contender next season. Who wants to deal with that? If Hunter and Yaya's on the other side, you got Canty that's going to get better. You got Vita who's going to be Vita. Antoine and Whitehead back together. And then let's get on the offensive side. Baker and Evans have another chemistry year. Because one thing we do know about Baker, he has the Jameis mentality. Fuck it, Evans is there. And I like that shit. And that's what we need. I want Cohen. This is how I would talk to Cohen. Like, Cohen, you need to have a Baker mentality like Winston did with Evans. Fuck it, Evans is there. Repeat after me, Slick. Fuck it, Evans is there. You have that. If you have that, everybody else eats and feasts because Otten is only going to get better. That's another guy that Baker low-key loves to throw to. Shit, he's the reason why we lost to Detroit, because he was looking for Otten at the wrong time. Now, that's another chemistry I would love to build, because I think Baker and Otten are on something. I just think against Detroit, he should have been more reliant on Evans than Otten, because that throw to Otten was inexcusable, because Otten did not have no clear separation. I think he wanted to force it. You don't force it to Otten at that point. You force it to Evans. So, again, you just said it. If all those pieces I say come into fruition, Slick, we're Super Bowl contender. Nobody wants to see that team. Detroit, I think we would stomp a mud hole in their asses, because I told you, I see Detroit regressing just because people are going to catch up to them. And I think they're putting a lot more faith in Amon-Ra, who's good, but he ain't. To me, he hasn't done enough to where this guy is going to be a Justin Jefferson or what Mike Evans or Devontae was. So the Bucs do have this point, as you said, the draft. If we knock it out, oh my God! If our first two picks are like, hey, these are immediate starters, you got it now. But like you said, we just have to know. We're just guessing, guys. We don't know what the hell's going to happen in this free agency because now, Slick, we got to, Buck fans, we have to talk about reality. Again, we love the Bucs, but we also know football. This is business. Where do the Bucs go if Baker stays? But Evans says, you know what? It's been fun, but I want to get paid and win. And Texas said they're gonna give me 3 years for $90 million. I'm out. And it would break my heart. I'll cry, but he's got it. But yeah, I'll shed man tears. I'll give him a digital fist pump and say thank you for all you've done. But now, like you said, that can change the draft entirely. Now, I don't think we would get a receiver in the first round unless the only receiver that I want, I ain't gonna hold you, is that Florida State receiver. If we can get that motherfucker, you know who I'm talking about. The guy who is Evans like, but faster. That would be the only way, but we would have to give up too much. But you're right. At that point, the second or third round might be a receiver at this time. Like shit, we got to get somebody to complement Godwin. So, in your opinion, how would you go with it if Baker comes back, but Evans says, I need that money?
I mean, you've got to look at what's available. Calvin Ridley is available if you wanted to go down that route. He probably would be cheaper than Mike Evans, but he isn't Mike Evans. That's the thing you've got. But you also have to remember you do have Chris Godwin. You do have Chris Godwin on already there. Yes. You also have an emerging talent in Trey Palmer.
Yes, you do.
You could go down the alley of maybe taking a free agent that could fill in as a wide receiver 2 and make Chris Godwin your wide receiver 1, and then maybe draft somebody in the later rounds, like a round 4, round 3, maybe, and you could do it that way. Or you maybe you trade up, maybe someone you still like falls. But we all know that the draft is a bit of a lottery. It is. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee because no one for CJ Stroud was going to be as good. Otherwise, another team would have took him.
Yeah,
would have been the second overall pick. He would have been the first overall pick. Now, that's a fact. That's just what it is. Brock Purdy would not be Mr. Irrelevant. He would be drafted accordingly. Because right now, if someone turned around and you said this is what this kid will do, he'd be one of the first picks taken off the board.
Agreed. Now I want to ask you this though, Slick. What if the Glazers? Let's say if Evans leaves, what if the Glazers just all of a sudden became some Dan Campbell type shit and just throwing the nuts on the table and say fuck it, Justin Jefferson, get your ass to Tampa? What if Justin Jefferson were to replace Mike Evans?
See, the issue with Justin Jefferson replacing Mike Evans is if you must be willing to pay more. Yeah, because Justin Jefferson's is much younger, you're going to get more longevity out of it. So I would say I don't see that happening for the sheer fact is they could just re-sign Mike.
Cool. But what if he left and it puts the pressure on the Bucs to say, you know what, we want to keep this offensive. I'm just saying, sometimes it shit like that can mess with you because look what the Falcons did. Remember when they went through they gave away so many picks for Julio Jones? Now I know that was the draft, but my point is sometimes when your star leaves, the Glazers might panic and say, look, because is Godwin really ready to step into Evans role just yet? We love Godwin, but we don't know what he would be like completely with a full season without Mike Evans. So what if the Glazers just say, hey, you know what? We're willing to pay more, like you said. Can you imagine Justin Jefferson complimenting Godwin?
I mean, it would be amazing. But I just don't see it happening. Don't get me wrong, I'd love it if it happened.
I don't see it happening.
Of course. And maybe another thing, and this is another thing to take into account, is who's the wide receiver that we got from the Falcons?
You're talking about
the one that's
always injured. Yeah. Damn, I forgot his name too because he's always injured.
Yeah.
Russell Gage.
Russell Gage. Maybe if Mike Evans walks, they reevaluate what they're going to do with him.
Yeah, I would just say at that point.
I know what you're saying. I get where you're going, but he's not a bad wide receiver. He's just injured. That's the only. It's never been ability. It's been availability. Yeah. I know what you're
Yeah,
saying. To be honest, I think the Buccaneers should walk away from it because you can't guarantee that it's not going to happen again. But
facts.
he was making plays in preseason, and that means fuck all because it's preseason because everyone makes plays in preseason. But he
Yeah,
looked pretty good. He looked pretty good in preseason. Maybe,
yeah,
like I said, maybe you go down the route of. I mean, you got Marquise Brown you could look at,
yeah. I mean,
but
it's a
are they?
at that
You're
point.
not going to find
I
anybody
say,
who's like Evans. That's the thing, unless it's like you
yeah,
just said. Yeah, T Higgins is
I fucking
probably T Higgins is in that conversation. I mean, like, let me have a look at what they got the projections at these guys.
yeah,
T Higgins is 66 million, 60 million, 60.5 million a year, but he was never the dude. You know, he's a wide receiver 2. But could you put him at the wide receiver 2 and elevate Chris Godwin to the wide receiver 1 position? And
you
that's when all the pieces get. Maybe you keep Gage, and now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 already sorted. You don't have to put too much on Gage. I don't know maybe he re-signs a deal that's a bit cheaper to
yeah,
help some cap relief because let's face it, frankly, dude, you haven't fucking played a fucking lick for us yet.
yeah.
That's a fair conversation you can have. I was like, dude, you've made so much money by not playing for us. Can you help us out? We'll keep you on the team.
Mm-hmm,
You can go as far as you can go.
mm-hmm.
You need to give us some cap relief from what you're earning, and that way instead of having two superstars, they have one superstar, a decent wide receiver 2. T. Higgins is not a bad wide receiver by any stretch of the imagination. Russell
Right.
Gage, when healthy, is really talented. And then you have someone and then you've got the development of, and that number 3 battle will be really nice because you'd have a decent 3 battle. That's one of the ways they could go. Who else have we got? Michael Pittman, but his contract is expected to be quite high. It's 90 million for 4 years. So T. Higgins, I'd take T. Higgins over him anyway. Personally,
Yeah.
like Evans, Marquise Brown, Calvin Ridley. So that's the kind of names you're getting now. See if there's anyone else that's popping up. Gabe Davis, but I see him as a slot receiver that's not going to do much else.
I agree.
I wouldn't want to spend 54 million on a slot receiver.
Yeah, I agree.
That doesn't tickle my pickle.
Yeah, and that's my thing. I agree. Like at that point, Higgins would be your best shot. Jefferson would be a Walt Disney picture movie moment, and when that shit ain't happening,
They don't even have him on this, so I assume that whoever's done this does not expect him to even hit the market.
well, no, if Minnesota's smart, they would keep him. But again,
they can't keep him. They'll tag him.
Oh, right. Just like we and Rick Hughes from the Bucs Live, guys, he predicted this. He said that Antoine would get franchise tagged. I'm not mad at it. It's just, boy, if Antoine
it could happen, but then it could still you could franchise tag Mike.
You can franchise. Yep. I don't want to franchise tag him. That's just you don't.
No, I get you, but it depends on how far. I think you franchise tag somebody. You should, in my opinion, if you're going to be morally, you franchise tag someone who you feel that you can get the deal done with. That you're like, I don't want them to get to the open market because that's going to really potentially inflate the price even more. Yeah. I want to keep this in house. I want to be the only person discussing with him. So we'll do it this way. But we're not that far apart. I don't think we can get it. The whole tagging somebody just to keep them in your building, it is in my opinion, it's a dirty play. Because the Dallas Cowboys did it a few times.
Yeah, and when you tag people, kind of way it's like, oh shit, you're handcuffing me, and I can't go out there and test the market. In a way, it's like a person when you say it over.
We tagged somebody. I can't remember who it was. It was ages ago. Who did we tag? We used to tag on somebody recently.
Yes.
Oh, we used it on Shaq Barrett.
Yes, we tagged Shaq, but that shit was well worth it. It was
it was well worth it because we knew we had a deal the deal was close to getting done. You just didn't want to hit the open market. Your deal can pull through right from that point. Yeah, you're so close to talk. You're so close to getting it all ironed out, and then they go to the open market and someone throws stupid money at them. Then all of a sudden, your market, the market just turns into a mess.
Oh, agreed.
When you're close, you may as well.
Oh, agreed. You don't. When Shaq had the year that he had in 2019,
Jefferson isn't a free agent until 2025. So I remember in one of our we had somebody come on and said that he was a free agent. That's probably what made me think he was. But yeah, okay.
Thank you for that, Fred. Now I can just shut that dream down and just go, look, he ain't going nowhere. But you're right, though, about the Shaq situation. After 2019, the Bucs had no choice. 19 and a half sacks. If the Bucs didn't do that, somebody else was willing to pay him. And even after he won the Super Bowl, Shannon Sharp and them was shocked that he signed the deal, because Shannon said, oh my God, if he can go to a sorry team and still command 90 million, because that's how valuable he was. So that's why I do think that, yeah, you're right. When it comes
they've got into his offer sheet of his 5th-year option. That'll be why.
Yeah, exactly. So at this point, guys, we're just talking about if Mike Evans isn't coming. We're speaking in existence that he's staying. So we just had to throw that out there. We had to get that elephant out the room, because Bucs fans, we are fans of not only the Bucs, but the fans of football. And this is still a big ass business. Money talks. Now we know that Evans has made a lot of money with us, but he can make some more money and win championships. He's at the point of his career where I can still make this one last big payday and I can win championships. Now let's hope he has that faith here in Tampa, because he does. And I do think Evans is going to see that repertoire with Baker. I honestly think if they come back, this season, Evans will get at least another 1,300 yards. But mark me, if he comes back this year, Slick, he's gonna break the touchdown barrier, where he's going to get somewhere between 17 and 18. I'm marking that right now. That's a hot take, 17. And here's why. I think Cohen, for whatever reason, is going to, you know how we get pissed off when we see that Evans is in the red zone and they don't go to him. I think Cohen is going to change that and say, hey, let's not do anything stupid. Throw it to him. If he's one-on-one, why not throw it to him? If you're smart, anytime there's a one-on-one in the red zone, you go to Evans, because at this point in his career, he can either get a touchdown or he's going to command a pass interference because of his status.
And if that is considered incomplete because only he's going to get it, you put it on that top shelf where only the big kids can get it.
Touchdown. Reach. And I honestly think that's why. And with the chemistry, they'll know each other.
Especially if you're red zone and it's first down. You want in those first 3 downs, you want one of them to be a Mike Evans. You don't want it to be the last one, because it kind of feels a little bit 50, because they can be 50-50 balls.
Absolutely.
Sometimes they're fucking magnificent and they don't need to be. But I would say you want to have if you're in the red zone, you want to have one Mike Evans shot. You've got to have one Mike Evans shot.
I think first down is the most important, because, like you said,
if you still set yourself up for a second down and a third down.
And you scare defenses, because now they don't want to go through that again. So at this point, okay, guys, now we see they're more scared of Evans. Russell Gage.
So they might shift the coverage to somewhere else.
This is where you come in, where the second play, I know on second down, to me, that's where I'm going to get a yak receiver. And tear
I would do the same thing again. I'd line up the same play again, but this time the slot that plays underneath it is the one who would be next to.
Yep, a short pass where it's running up. Yes, I agree. Either that or
just because you're gonna be thinking shit, and then the next time I'll throw in the complete opposite direction. This is why I like a wide receiver stack.
Agreed.
Because you go to Mike Evans on a wide receiver stack, they're gonna automatically command the same double team to him, especially if the ball is incomplete or for whatever reason doesn't get completed. But they see that stack again, and then somebody just squeaks out last minute and boom.
Oh yeah, I'm the guy where I fuck you up with a double running back set, but this one I'm gonna have Rachaad White do a wheel out, because he's a receiving type anyway, and then my next back is gonna be the blocker, so Baker can get that extra time, and then they're still looking at Evans. They're still looking at somebody else. Boom, short pass. We know what Rachaad White can do when he gets that rock. You know how to make people miss. That touchdown he did in Detroit was one of the greatest moments. That blocking when he caught it and he just shifted his way. I was like, Rachaad White made it. So again, I agree with you. I think that the Bucs just simply, we have to know, we just got to have faith, guys. The Bucs will be fine. They know what they're doing. It's a lot out there, but I do think that one thing Jason Light is, he's a man of contingencies. He knows what to do. Here he is.
It's really
Sorry for busting in, guys. Sorry about that.
That's
No,
all right, man.
no,
No worries.
fine.
Hey, we never mind. We never mind.
How you doing, Rick?
I am good. I am good. Hey,
Yeah.
I wanted to come on real quick and just tell everybody. I see all the blame being thrown around online. Everybody's pissed off at oh, how dare them not give Mike what he wants. Listen, man, if you have any kind of budget in your house, at some point you look at it and you say, yeah, let me tell you this. I really like, there are a couple cars out there that I really like, but I can't afford them. It's not the car company's fault. It's not my fault.
It's definitely the car company's fault.
Well,
I'm
but
always blaming the car company.
I can't blame them. So,
They
I mean,
make a
there's
car
no
that's worth
blame.
cost
Listen,
them 10
the
grand to
Bucks
make it. They sell it
love
for
Mike
50.
Evans. The Buccaneers, the organization, the people in charge, all of them love Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Mike Evans wants to make whatever Mike Evans can make. If they
Yep.
can't afford him, it's not Evans' fault. It's not the Bucs' fault. There's no blame. It's just, well, you shrug and
Couldn't get
say,
it done. She couldn't get the job.
dang it. Yeah, man, this sucks. And if that's the way it goes down, that's the way it goes down. I still think they're going to work something out.
I agree.
I still think it's going to get worked out. I
I
still
agree.
think all three of the guys will be back. Winfield will be tagged. But could Evans leave? Listen, man, if somebody throws a boatload at Evans, well, if he decides to go, good for him. I heard today something interesting, and I thought it made sense. I wanted to bring it here. Is what we really need to watch is whether or not Cincinnati tags T. Higgins and whether the Colts tag Michael Pittman Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Because
We're
if
just
they
talking about
do
the two guys.
that, if they tag those guys, Mike Evans is really the only wide receiver out there in free agency. And people are going to throw mad money at him because there's going to be supply and demand. There's not, Mike Evans is the man out there.
Yes.
And, with no real
Marquise
competition.
Brown, I think, is the next guy.
Who?
Marquise Brown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
compared to Mike Evans, that's a who. I
So-
do. Yeah, you're right, Rick. You're right.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what I mean.
I
That's the
didn't
next.
come
So
up
that's
with
the
it.
next. So that's the next step down.
Yeah, Tom Krasnicki on WDA is the one who came up with that. I did not. I don't want to sound like I came up with it. He brought that up,
Yeah,
and I
he
thought
always shares the credit. He always shares the credit. He's a good dude.
yeah. Well, I thought it was, pretty brilliant that he, they're not. I wouldn't call it brilliant, but it's a very good observation.
Very logical point. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
very,
Now-
very good
now, Rick-
observation that we got to watch those guys. And listen, man, if Evans leaves, wish him the best. As long as he's not going to the Falcons, Panthers, or Saints, we wish him the best. I do have to say, just for the laugh, it's hilarious to think about Evans going to the Saints after all the hate and all the
Drama.
yeah, all the stuff that happened. That's just a
They ain't
good
got no
laugh.
fucking money to sign. If we can't fucking sign him, they definitely can't.
Yeah, they can't.
No,
no.
absolutely. He's not going to the Saints. I was just saying it's a funny.
Oh yeah,
after-
no. I would look. I'd troll Evans and be like, "Is this a sick joke?" But that's just me.
Yeah, he's.
But no,
If he's
I
going
think-
anywhere, Houston or Kansas City.
No, Kansas City can't
Kansas
afford
City
him.
ain't got no money either. To be fair,
He can't afford him. Evans at this point, Rick, I think if he goes somewhere, he wants
give him Texans.
good cash, but he also wants championships. That is a blessing for the Bucs. They could, other teams can tag in other guys all they want, but we just said it. Slick and I just said this earlier, Rick. Only teams like Houston that it would be the most ideal place because they got a young quarterback up and coming, and they got the money. Everybody else, Evans will say, like you said, the Falcons could say something. Panthers could say, "Hey, man, we want to pay you." Evans going to say, "Hell no." Like
Right.
Slick said earlier, I've been in the dumps for years, And I got a good taste of look. He had hamburger helper with the Bucs the first few years. Motherfucker got steak and lobster and shrimp. He got a surf and turf and swirls. He ain't going back from that.
I agree with you
He's
completely.
gonna stay his ass. He gonna go somewhere. He's like, hey, look, oh, y'all ain't got spaghetti. You ever had spaghetti and lobster together, Rick and Slick?
No,
That
Nope.
shit is delicious. You gotta try it one day. Spaghetti, lobster, and then a little steak on the side. I'm telling you, you're gonna feel like Almighty Zeus.
Well, you just like named every. It's like, well, yeah, have a little spaghetti, a little lobster, a little steak, and I mean
That's not a cheap meal, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, no joke. Surf and turf plus spaghetti, man.
Damn right. That's the look. That is the Evans. That is the Evans echelon. So right now, we were just saying this, Rick. We think Wirfs and Baker and Evans are like, hey man, we gonna sit here because Wirfs gonna be like, look, I ain't never known nothing but the playoffs, man. I'm not going to the dumps until I'm at the end of my career. Baker, we're gonna thug this out together. Evans, like my man Coach said before, yes, ain't going nowhere. That is one of my favorite things Coach Arians always did. Yes, ain't going nowhere. Your ass ain't going nowhere. Evans, your ass ain't going nowhere. Evans is not leaving this relationship. Even if we say it's over, we're gonna be like, you're not done. You ain't done till we say you're done. Those guys are gonna come together, Rick, like you said. I have faith in
it happens.
Right. I think it will. I think it will. I think it will. Why would you want to go to a competitive AFC when you can be in the NFC? Dallas is on their last leg.
The answer. I may be able to give you millions and millions of reasons. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I'm sorry, but if you're Mike Evans and you can make, $7-8 million more per season and go to Houston, your hometown.
That's the only place. I would say that's the only place. Anywhere else, he's not going to do it.
I mean, that's the biggest contender. I don't really see anybody else. I mean, I'd be surprised, but I don't think it's impossible to be anybody else. But I would say for him, yeah. I mean, he's not from Houston though. He's from Galveston, right? Where's that to Houston?
It's right up. It's
they're
on the
right by each other.
Okay.
Yeah, they're right by each other. But we at this point, Houston, you can go to hell. Right now, this is our guy.
Houston, you're gonna have a problem.
Yes, Houston, you're gonna have a problem. CJ Stroud already fucking around with Amber Rose. You don't need that. He already on the wrong end. You out here. You got all the talent in the world. You choose that. So look, we don't need those problems because Amber Rose is gonna put a story out on his Instagram and he's gonna fuck his game up. Mike Evans don't need that distraction.
We already had Tom Brady with Giselle. Come on.
Hey, that's the GOAT though. He gets a pass. CJ Stroud ain't there yet.
I agree with that.
I'd say she's a little. I'd say Giselle's a little bit less drama than someone like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Much less drama. Amber Rose will mess around and be like, "See,
Amber Rose.
Yeah. This is why he can't throw the pass." And then next thing you know, CJ fucking around and messing up. Evans don't like nonsense. He don't like drama. He already been through that with Winston. He ain't trying to go through that shit. Baker is a happily married man about to have a child. Him and Wirfs. I'm telling you, Evans ain't got nowhere to go. It's like Evans.
Listen, well, it's not true for the last couple of years. Just like Lynch left. Look, this is the reality of it. Jerry Rice left. Randy Moss left. I mean, there's the reality of hell. Tom Brady left New England. Okay, yep. It's not.
Aaron Rodgers left Green Bay.
Yes, it's not impossible. It's not.
Aaron Rodgers got
crazy.
He got
yeah. Well, okay, but the other guys didn't get dumped.
Oh no, they left. They left on their own terms. But
I mean, well, not their own terms. It's just the team couldn't afford to pay them.
Well, shit,
and all the best to Mike Evans. I hope he's back. Let me be clear. I hope Mike Evans is back. But if he's not, I don't want to. God bless. We're going to have to deal with all the people who are mad at the Buccaneers and all the people who are mad at Mike Evans. Screw him. No, man. Just listen. I love working for the company that I work for, right?
Right.
But if some other company comes along and offers me a heck of a lot more money,
You got to go.
I'm gonna have to at least take a good, serious, solid look.
Damn that, Slick. You out. You don't even give him your 2-week notice. Look, a job right now, Slick, say, come on, Rick. A job right now, say, look, man, we're gonna pay you $200,000 right now. But you got to leave. Sign this contract. I can guarantee you right now, you ain't coming in there. You walking out. You ain't gonna.
You know the weird thing to think about, though?
What?
Here's a weird thing to think about. Okay, Slick, you can go on. Here's a job for you, but it's on the Colts report.
Okay.
Okay, you're going to the Colts.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, see, yeah, look at AJ. AJ's like, "Ooh, wait, what? That's what Evans is facing.
Yeah, there's a flip side to that, Rick, because if let's say the Colts do pay me right, I can still always find a way to throw the Bucs in there. Be like, hey, but shout out to them Bucs though, they're doing this. Oh, I'm gonna find a way
AJ,
because I'm gonna be like,
AJ, if the Colts paid you that kind of money, all of a sudden you'd be loving the Colts.
You damn right.
You'll deal with them maybe again
and you,
one
and
day
you, and
down
you
the
may
road.
secretly root for the Bucks, but on paper and on Facebook and on every social media, you will be a Colts fan through and through.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, trust and believe. If the
in
Colts
your heart,
in my heart. Oh no. The check
you
is
would
coming.
be a Colts fan.
Indiana's the greatest place to be, guys.
Yes. They're throwing the money at you. Yes, absolutely. And that's
I
what
love
an absolute dude.
Oh, shit. Look, there's only one team where, like, if I went there, I'd talk, but I'd be professional. I wouldn't say with passion, I'd be professional. And that's the damn New Orleans Saints, but they'd have to pay me a shit ton. If they were to be like, you got to get your ass down here, I'm going to be like, okay, yes.
Listen,
the New Orleans Saints are a nice team.
There's a heck of a lot of discomfort that I can put up with. And let me tell you something. Heck, man, I have. Think about jobs you've had. Think about stuff you've done. You do what you got to do. That's the job part of it.
Yep.
I know, but like I said, they'd have to pay me a lot.
We're fans. We like to throw the jersey on and root for the team on Sunday and put on the hat and the flag behind us, whatever. Okay? Yeah, there you go. All of that great, but the food he's putting in his kids' mouths, the mortgage, the whatever, the house he's paying for, the everything is because this is a job. Oh, and while we're screaming, cheering, and hollering, that man's getting clocked by big, large human beings hitting him. His hamstrings are seizing up like my grandma's.
All right.
Look, I mean, it is what it is.
That's all right. You know what? He gets millions of dollars to treat those hammies. So that's good. But I agree with what you're saying, though, Rick. We all talk shit. But again, this is business. You got to feed your family. And you want to take care of yourself, for all we know. What if the Texans say, look, man, $100 million? I honestly feel Texans throw some shit like that. He's definitely going. If the Texans were to be like $100 million for 3 years.
You're taking care of your kids.
And Texas is another state with no taxes, state tax. So shit.
Yeah.
Shit. So at that point, you're right. At the end of the day, Rick, I mean, it is a business. And we said this earlier. Didn't we say this earlier, Slick? We said this is a business. We are fans of the Buccaneers, but we are also fans of the game. And when you are a fan of the game, you got to be, unfortunately, you got to know the business. Everybody, as you just said, Rick, Brady, Peyton, Jerry, Joe Montana, Kurt Warner, a lot of the greats didn't retire who they played for in the beginning. It's business.
Yeah.
So it's business. And, and on that note, I'm going to just wrap my little thing up. And I want to ask y'all this. Y'all can stay on, but I'm going to get off.
No, I got to go too. I just wanted to hop in. I saw you guys.
I want to ask you first then, Rick, since you're a special guest. And guys, you got to check out Bucs Live on Tuesdays at 9. This man always dropping. Rick is the guy where he's like, I'm not here to hell with your feelings. I'm going to tell you what it is. And we like that. That's why he laughed. You know, he's like, look, guys, I'm going to tell you the Bucs are going to do this and they're going to do that. Eat it. And that's how it is. So, Rick, what would be a win for you in the free agency? Not the draft. We're not there yet. What would be a win for you in the free agency?
Well, right now, let's just get these 3 guys signed. We get these 3 guys signed and get a center. I'm good with that at this point. I mean, really, seriously, it's to be honest with you. I mean, and you know how we're always supposed to try to make ourselves sound like experts. Honestly, I have not dug into free agency yet, and I should, but I have not yet really dug into free agency to be educated enough to give you really solid, good, a good thoughts. I can tell you this. What I want is these 3 guys re-signed for the Bucs.
That's the most important thing.
What's that?
It's the most important thing, those 3 guys. That's
Yeah.
the Buccaneers free agency in a nutshell. Those 3 people are the most important thing. Once
And
you get past that, the rest you can. It depends. You can go do that in the draft as well, though. So
I'm not. Can you really get a rookie center?
You say that, Creed. Everyone's a rookie once, and Creed Humphrey was who was the center for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he is a All-Pro Pro Bowler.
Yeah, you're right.
I think if you go high on a guy that's really good, then I can't remember his name. Jackson Powers. I can't remember. He's got a triple barrel name. Is it something Jackson Powers or Powers
Austin
Jackson
Powers?
That's not that one.
Hey.
But my point being is there are guys available. Would he be an upgrade to what we got now? Yes, and that's all you need right now. You just need an upgrade of what you've got now.
Agreed. And something AJ said all last year, I think, is even more true next year if the offense can just be average. And I think that's even more true next year. So how do we keep ourselves there? And by the way, and I'm going to say this, which is, I'm going to leave you guys on this, which is a horrible thing to leave you guys on. If Mike Evans leaves, understand this. This franchise has a plan. I know this about Jason Light and everybody involved. There's a plan. They've already got figured out what they're gonna do when they let him go. Past the deadline, and taking the $7 million. They're trying to get all that dead money out between this year and next year. They're trying to get it all finally paid for. But the thing is, if that happens, they already know what they're gonna do.
Oh, you've got to have a look at what's that phrase they used to say? What's behind door number 2?
Yep.
They need to know what they're going to do because it is a possibility that Mike Evans walks. If Mike Evans walks, what do we do? What is the
you draft? I think you have to draft a receiver first pick.
It depends on what the market looks like, but.
Agreed. Okay, thank you for that, Rick. I appreciate it. Slick, what's a win in the free agency for you?
I think we were all going to say the same thing. It's those 3.
Yes.
It's the Buccaneer 3.
I'm going to throw this.
I'm
just going to throw a little spice in there.
If
Jason Light, because he's a G. Jason, I'm gonna just call him Jason OG Light because he is. All right. If he fucks around and says, "Look, Travis, I'm gonna get Travis Hunter for a reasonable deal. Get my man Chase Young for 1 year, and then Whitehead comes back to the family." Oh shit!
Listen, if Whitehead comes back, I'm gonna be giddy. I'm gonna be stupid giddy because I love that dude.
Who?
Jordan Whitehead.
Oh yeah, Whitehead comes back again. He is single though. Whitehead is single. It's time for us to be like, look, man, get your ass back. Look, you shouldn't have left anyway. See, we want him to be like, look here, girl. You see what was out there, right? He tested the market. He thought the grass was greener in New York. It was dirty. That girl, that man did you wrong. Now you come back here, get your ass home where the heart is. Whitehead, get your ass home. Stay
Yeah,
your ass here.
if that happens, I'm a very
I'm
happy
walking
man.
in the
Listen,
furniture
I
store,
think we're
Rick, and
gonna lose
and
Shaq
I'm dapping
Barrett.
you
I
up.
think we're gonna lose Shaq Barrett. I think we're gonna lose Devin White.
Bye,
I think
Devin.
those. Yeah, I think that's well. Let's call that almost settled matters. I think that's the case. I think there's a shot that we lose either Carlton Davis or
Dean is on contract. We signed him, so Dean has got.
well, it doesn't mean no. I understand that. That doesn't mean you're keeping him. So I mean there are ways they're going to make cap space, guys,
Facts.
and the cap's going up.
Russell
So,
Gage can sort out as well.
Exactly.
and Russell Gage is gone. That's 10 million. So the thing is, there are ways that they are going to create space, and if they want Mike Evans back,
Yep.
they're going to give him a reasonable offer. It may not be everything Mike wants. The key to all of it is who offers what to Mike
Yep.
Evans, and then it's up to Mike. So listen, man, if the pretty girl leaves you, do me a favor and don't just sit there and cry about the girl leaving you. Move on. It's what we have to do. It's not easy. It sucks. We've all had it happen, but this is the relationship we hope sticks around.
I know, but Rick, that's some bullshit. You got to look at the Instagram page and what you had for a few days. Then you got to go into a corner and clean your room. You know what I'm talking about? You got to get it out of your system. You got to sit back and play.
Yeah,
play the weekend. You got to play the weekend to get over this shit.
Yeah.
Look, if the hot chick leaves, you got to look at what you had, cry a little bit.
So not that guy. I am so not that guy.
Rick, yes, everybody has been that guy. You just sat back and was like, look, now you older, so you probably played. Let me see what you listened to. You probably listened. I don't know why, Rick. You might be a low-key Sade fan. I can see you just.
Oh, hell yeah.
See, I knew it. You probably sit back and just play some Sade, sit back and look and reminisce. And look.
Hold the photo up of Mike Evans in the Buccaneers uniform again.
Exactly.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is at this point of my life, I know better.
Yeah.
At this point of my life, the pretty girl leaves. Well,
look, no money, no honey. That's what they say. No
that's
money, no honey.
The pretty girl leaves. Next. I mean, that's what you got to do. Who's gonna be our number one receiver?
My friends,
I
will tell you.
I will be so not like AJ.
Bullshit.
AJ's gonna lose his mind and be mad at Todd Bowles and everybody.
I ain't gonna be mad at Todd Bowles. I'm gonna just be upset. Hey, look, you gotta let me grieve the way I grieve.
I can't wait for the if it does happen. The memes are going to be amazing.
Oh yeah.
God. Yes, but on that note, guys, I will let you guys go.
Have a good night, guys.
Take care, guys. Again, thank you for chilling at the Aftermath on 102.9 The Game, Broad Street South Radio. As you see, we are all stand-up comedians here. It's love. Again, we got the man down here, Rick, who's about business and reality. You got Slick up here, who's the same way, who's a coach mentality. I'm the dreamer, but I know when to bring it back to reality because like I always reality check won't bounce. So again, with that, guys, thank you. You can always check me out on It's About Buck and Tom, my YouTube channel, AJ Turn Up. Check out my merchandise right here. And we got all good stuff here. And as always, guys, take care of yourselves and go Bucs and take care of yourself.
Look after yourself.
Take care, man.
Okay, guys, that's the end of the show. Thank you for joining us. It's been a real one, and we will see what's going to happen with Mike Evans over the coming days. And will the Tampa 3 be back in Tampa? Only time will tell. Bucs on me, Bucs on 3. 1, 2, 3. Go Bucs!